Welcome to Transaction Review, a calculator practice for August 2017. It's been a beautiful summer. I know a lot of people have vacations and family, but I sure appreciate you tuning in to be with us. Tonight, I'm excited to share some things with you, just go over a transaction that I just recently closed on. And Kyoko, one of our members, is here, and we're going to talk about what happens when you go through foreclosure. And that's inevitable in this business. If you're buying notes, no matter what, you're probably going to come up against this problem. So I look forward to that. Of course, the standard disclaimer, this presentation is for educational purposes only. This is my opinion. You should always consult your trusted advisors, CPAs and accountants and attorneys before you do anything. Just a quick announcement. Our community is growing, and since our last meeting, we've got 3 new members. Well, please help me welcome Richard Farrell, Alim Shabazz, and Rafael Garza. So it's always great to have new people. In fact, yesterday on our virtual happy hour, office hours call, it was really great to get to know Richard, who's in Dallas and quite a sophisticated investor, but just trying to tighten up what he knows about notes and how to play the paper side of things. So that was really awesome. And also just wanted to give a quick announcement that I'm doing our first live event ever. It's called the Property and Paper Summit, and it's going to be October 8th, 9th, and 10th, the evening of the 8th, which is a Sunday, and all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and people can fly out Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. It's going to be right on Lake Tahoe. It's going to be absolutely stunning views. And I don't know that this website is up and live yet, but it probably will be by this weekend. So just a heads up if you'd be interested in joining us live to talk about the dance between property and paper. So for this calculator practice, I wanted to show how you can buy property and paper in the exact same transaction. I bought a piece of real estate and a discounted note all at the same time. So I just want to show you, just when you learn the paper side of the business and the discounted note and how that all works, it just opens up how your mind can think about solving problems and creating win-win solutions for everyone. So this actually just closed like a week ago. And so first thing that happened is I saw this on Craigslist. I saw Craigslist for sale by owner, mobile on land, and $75,000, no financing because it's an older mobile home. Even though it's affixed to the land as real estate, it's a 1968 mobile home. You can't get traditional financing. So she says you're going to have cash. And so I called her and went over right away, had a talk with her, and I had kind of established value before I got there. So I just kind of want to go through it. Instead of talking, I just kind of want to go through it. So first, I just go and I type in the address right into Google. So this was 2772 Kit Sierra Way, Carson City, Nevada. And, first thing, I can get a ballpark now. I know exactly what part of town it's in. And, I can pull up the Google Earth view. I get a quick bird's eye view of the property and the neighborhood. So that's like the first thing I do is just pull it up on Google, see everything that comes up about it. As you can see, it's it's a 1/4 acre lot, so almost 11,000 square feet. And of course, if I worked with this, I could turn around and look at everything with Google Earth. That's not what I'm going to do. Next thing, I like to go to Appraisal. So, and I'll just type it in so people can follow along. Appraisal.com. It pulls it up. Pulls this up, you put in your address, get home value, and sometimes Appraisal doesn't have a number for this. I don't know what their algorithms are, but In this case, they do have it. They're pegging the value at 169. Anyways, they already pull up Zillow. If I want to go over to Zillow, it gives me some info about the property. I can pull up Zillow. Of course, my internet seems to be a little bit slow, which is not good. Okay, well, anyway, so now I have kind of a ballpark, right? And then I want to go over, and I also check RealtyTrack, realtytrack.com, and just a little note on that. A lot of people use it for chasing foreclosures, and you can see down here they estimate the value at 126. So far, I feel pretty comfortable at the property's worth more than $100,000. But anyway, I didn't want to, since I don't chase foreclosures that much, I was going to cancel the service because I couldn't remember. I think it was $49 a month. I can't remember what they're charging me. I go, I've got so many revolving charges. But then when I went to cancel, they said, oh, you can stay on for like 10 or 20 bucks a month. So I did that. I also pull up Property Radar. It's another paid service. In this case, they don't have an opinion of value, but they tell me who owns it, some information about it. Assessed value 14,000. Not unusual that it's way lower than market value. What they estimate the loan balance to be, probably they're guessing it was a 30-year loan. In this case, it was not. Purchased for $60,000 in 2011. And then I want to try to see if I can create the story. So do you guys know about Netter Online? Netter.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I think I was speaking with someone, and that's what he used to pull up values.
Yeah.
And check the state.
So here it is, netteronline.com, right? And then I go to the public. I just go straight to the public records section. And let's see, usually it'll pull up, the map. Okay, so then I pressed, obviously, Nevada, because where I am, and this is the county. I'm going to press Carson City. So these are things that I do like within 5 minutes, just to see if before I call or go over, if I can create a story about the property. And I've got these things online. I'm going to go to the recorder's office, go to data online. And this type, I want to know all the documents. So I'm going to search by document type, and I want to see all of them. And I'm just going to type in the parcel number, which is, in this case, 008232208. And I'll search because I want to see what's the story going on with this property. So you can see that starting in 2004, I can see that there was a sale there. Looks like they did an owner carry to somebody, to somebody who's probably a family member. Look at all this. Look, Pilkington and Hall. They seem to be family members. Somebody dies, and then I can see that. Oh, look, they did a seller carryback, because I can see that the seller of the property, grant, bargain, and sale deed, the name on the deed to convey title is also the name on the deed of trust. I go, oh, interesting. So right away, I know that the person I'm buying the property from got an owner carry from the previous seller. They didn't have all cash, and they didn't get a bank loan. Okay, and then I can also see that it used to be David Reed and Hope Reed, and then all of a sudden David Reed gets off it and gives it to, so now I can go, oh, there was a divorce, and it was about a year later, right? So now I can see that the only person on title is this one gal. So see, just from the public record, I can put together a story so that, I have more information when I go to negotiate. So anyway, and I guess my stuff, yeah, look, the sub and recon, because I paid him off, and I'll talk about that later. So that just barely hit the records. That's great. I didn't know it would be on there already. All right, so in this case, that's all I wanted to show there. So now, and actually I opened up the deed of trust. I don't know if I can pull it up really quick or not. Display document. Yeah, sometimes you can get a free one, depending on the county, you can get a free one. But,
I never knew Netter charged.
Pardon?
I never knew Netter charged any fees.
I don't think I'm paying for this. I think this is a free copy for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But anyway, here's the deed of trust, so I can see, yeah, it was owner carry. I can also see that the note and deed of trust was for $60,000 and the sale price was $60,000. So what do I know right away? I know that there was a zero down. This was zero down, 60,000, 100% owner carry, right? Okay, so that's a lot that I can learn just from that, right?
Correct.
Okay, so so when I went to visit her, so I established the value. So I know I'm pretty comfortable that it's worth at least 100,000, probably more. There's larger mobiles on land selling for in the 180 to 200 range, but this is a smaller, older 2-in-1 mobile home, right? And then I got to figure out, well, what can I offer? I got to know what my exit strategy is. And I'm going, look, I got too many other projects going on. I don't want to fix this up. I want to turn it around as is to someone who wants to get out of a rental. You know, there's a lot of rent pressure for people. So I want someone to have a chance to buy a home. And so I offered, she wanted 75. I offered her 70 because I wanted to take it subject to that existing owner carry note, right? So the original balance in 2011 when she bought it was 60,000, the exact same price she bought it for. She says she managed to remember that it was a 15-year fully amortized loan, but she couldn't remember the details of it. But she says, hey, I know I've been paying $600 a month for about 6 years, right? So let's see if we can figure out, without even having to have her find a copy of the note. Let's see if we can find out what it is. So 60,000 goes where? Right here into present value, right?
Yes.
So we know that much. We know she's been paying 600. We don't know if that's exactly, it, but we can get pretty close. We know it's a 15-year note, so 15 times 12 is 180 months that goes into N, which is term here. So I'm going to solve for interest and go, is that even reasonable? Yeah, that looks to me like pretty close. Either it's 9% or something, but it turned out that it was 8.75%, and that her actual payment due is $599.67, and she just pays an even $600. So, so then I figured out that pretty close. And she's made, just call it 72 payments. So recall N, right? So 180 total minus 72 leaves us with, there's 108 payments left. So basically 9 years. And approximately, because she did get behind a couple of months earlier this year, anyway, I could figure out what it should be, but all in all, the UPB, and in the note business, that's a very common term you need to get familiar with, unpaid principal balance. So the balance owed to the note holder, who was the guy who sold her the property, is approximately $48,000. So anyway, so that's how we solved that one. And do you guys have your calculators out too? Hi, Kathy. Great to have you on. I always miss that I can't hear your voice. Unless you can this time, I don't know. Okay, so exit strategy, as I said, I'm just going to mark it up to 89,000 because I don't want to do any work, and I want to give someone a deal, a family, the chance to own a piece of real estate so they can quit getting their 30, 60-day notices or their constant rent increase notices. I'm only going to require a down payment minimum of 10. And that would leave a first deed of trust for 79,000. And so there again, I go, what would this property rent for? And this would all day long rent for 900 a month. And I'm going to take out approximately 150 in taxes and insurance, because my goal here is not only to get, this is better than a 10% down payment, this 10,000, but my goal is to make the mortgage payment equal to approximately equal to what it would cost to rent there, because then they're set up for success and they can own for the price of renting, right? And so basically 900 minus 150. So I figure a solid, easily affordable payment for them would be $750 a month. So I'm going to put that in, and I put this as a negative number in payment here. And I don't want them to go past 15 years. You know, if once you start going past 15 years, it seems to the people like they'll never ever own it, right? They don't build equity very fast. And also in this price point, it's affordable for most people. You know, two people working a minimum wage job can usually handle, you know, this sort of payment. So 180, I'm going to put that in. And what's a reasonable face rate? Basically, oh, what else do I have to put in? Oops, I have to put in, because we know these three things. So 79 is going to be the note, right? 89 minus 10 is 79. So we know this number, I am guessing this number, and I want to max this out at 15 years if I can. So let me solve, and it's fully amortized. So there's no balloon payment here over here in FV, future value. So that's, okay, great. These numbers seem to be pretty right on, right? So a reasonable, let's just make it 8, okay? And if I do that, what is the payment? You guys following along? Anyone have it? All I got to do is press payment, and okay, so we're $5 more than, you know, what I was shooting for. So can you see this is a really win-win situation for them?
Yes.
Alrighty. All right, so let's move it on. So what's my potential profit? It's not really huge, right? But also I'm not doing anything, right? I don't have a lot of money into it. So basically my potential profit is, I think I can sell it for 89. If I sell it for 70, I'm really only looking at 19,000, but you know, just for doing a few tricks with the calculator and getting things under contract, that's fine. And it's a feel good, easy 20,000 almost. The seller's equity now, if I start at 70,000 and she owes 48,000 to the underlying note holder, her equity is 22,000. So if I can take the note subject to that existing note, then I don't have to come to control this to make 22,000, or to make 19,000, I only have to put out 22,000, right? So what if I could sell for all cash at the 89,000, which I think is possible? I don't know. I haven't marketed that way, but if I did, let's just see what my yield would be in hypothetically. So basically, if I put out 22,000, 22,000, where does that go, Kyoka?
Payment.
Well, that's my investment. So in this case, it's present value. What did I put into it, right? Is 22,000. Now, if I think I'm going to get back 19,000 on top of my 22,000, if I cash out, I've got to add my profit on there, right? So I'll put out 22. So I'll get back 41,000. And I'm going to put this as a negative number over here into future value, right? So I'm going to put that there because here's money going out of my pocket. There's my investment here. And that's how much I can get back. And will I get payments in the meantime? Let's say it takes me 2 months to turn it around. Will I get payments from anyone?
I don't think so.
No. So I'm going to put 0 in payment. And how many months? I'm saying 2 months I can do this. It probably could be 1 month, but actually I gave her time to get out. She wasn't ready to move yet. So let's say it takes me 2 months. Now, how do I figure out if this is a good deal? So I'm just going to put, okay, basically a 438% return. So that's okay, right? Like 19,000 doesn't sound like a ginormous amount, but it's not a huge property either. I've seen people be happy with that, and they're spending on property worth 200,000 and 300,000. But this is less than 100,000 that I'm even dealing with. So that would be pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yes, I think so.
right?
You're not doing anything.
Exactly. It's all I'm doing is negotiating the deals, putting paperwork together. In this case, but if I carry and I wrap, right, I just wrap the underlying financing, right? So the payment I would get from the buyer, we said, is approximately, it would be a little different, right? We said that 746 or something, or 754.
754.
Something like that. So basically,
97.
pardon?
754.97.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, so the payment, I'm just going to use round numbers here. So 750 I get from the borrower after they give me the 10,000, right? And I owe 600 to the underlying, and so my spread for the next 108 months, or is that 8 years? Is that right? Yeah, that's, no, 9 years? Shoot, 9 years. I think that's 9 years. Okay, so basically is 150 bucks, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is my yield if I do that? So the way I'm gonna, you guys, what would you do? You know, I love that little uneven cash flow feature. Did you see how I got there? This number plus that little N or cash flow there, or NJ. I don't even know what those all stand for. But so the first thing that happens is I put 22,000 out, right? So I'm going to put 22,000, and I'm going to make this a negative number because it's going, the way they set up their program, they make it anytime money's going out of your pocket, it's negative, and when it's coming in, it's positive. I, as a matter of practice, always keep these 3 numbers positive and these 2 numbers negative. That's just how I do it. But I think there's a lot of value to how they do it. Okay, so then we get 22,000 going out one time, and I get, and this is a 12-month timeline. So for 1 month I get nothing. Remember, I have the 0 in the payments, but the next month, what do I get back? I get what did I say? 10,000, right?
I think I'm calling 19,000 out.
Well, that's if I sold for cash. But if I do the owner carry with 10,000 down and I have that $75,000 note, remember?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so this is just pretending like, okay, what's my yield if I sell owner carry with 10 grand down and take it subject to the existing note? So, oops, what happened to my 10,000? 10,000, and that happens. Oh, that's because I have to add more fields here. 10,000. That happens once. And so I leave that positive because that's coming in to my pocket. That went out. I got nothing happened for a month. Then I got 10,000 the next month, 2 months later. And then what do I start getting? 150 in for how many months? The 108, right?
Yes.
Right. And then I'm going to add another line. And then after that, now it's a 15-year note. So, and only for the first lien holder will be paid off in 9 years. So then how many payments do I have left after that?
6 years.
How many? 108. I'm sorry. 180 minus 108, right? There's still 72, 6 years of payments left. Does that make sense? Everyone following along?
Yeah.
I got 70 payments, and this, oops, what's the amount though I get in? I put this wrong. Let's just call it the 750. I know it's 754 or something, right? And that's for 72 payments. So this reflects the cash flow, right? So 22,000 out, 2 months later, 10,000 in, then for 9 years, 150 a month, right? Everybody else is paying maintenance. The buyer owns the property. They're doing maintenance. They're paying taxes and insurance. There's nothing for me to do, right? There's no surprises like a landlord would have. And then at the tail end, I have $750 coming to me for the next 72 months after that. So I wonder what's that internal rate of return? Well, that's pretty good. I mean, that's 20% and fine, right? And then let's go on to the next and then see what happened. Then when I did the inspection and I had my electrician come over, there's some it's totally not to code. And I don't know what this is. Do you guys see that weird blue thing? That is so funny to me.
I see it.
I don't know
It
what
could be
happened.
me because I'm holding the phone. I'm in the bathroom. You don't want to know.
Yeah.
You don't want to know how I'm attending this meeting.
Yeah.
It was last minute. It was either do or
Oh,
die.
I am so happy you're here.
Yeah.
That's commitment. So I went back because I know it's not to code. They kind of messed up on some things, so I can't resell it. So what I worked out is a $4,000 credit from her. I didn't reduce the purchase price. I just worked it as a credit because it helps reduce my capital gains on the other side. So that reduces her equity to $18,000 instead of $22,000. Then it was sort of unavoidable for me to contact the underlying note holder because normally I would just take something subject to and I don't really talk to the lender. But when it's an owner carry person that lives, only 10 miles south of here and she has a good relationship with him, she's going to tell him what's going on, right? They're in good communication. So I called him to say, hey, you're making almost 9% interest. I'm assuming that's good cash flow for you. Would you be fine with just hanging out on the note? And he goes, no, actually, I really want to be cashed out. And of course, that changes the numbers for me tremendously, right? So so then I go, look, this gal's fallen on hard times. She got divorced. She's between jobs. She's got a new one, but she's a little down on her luck. She's trying to get some money. If I have to go back to her and renegotiate, she's not going to be able to start over up in Reno where she just got her new job. She needs some money. I said, how about this? I said, how much are you owed? And he verified the $48,000. I said, look, if I could get you cashed out, would you take 40? And I sort of kicked myself for not asking for less, but that's just the number that came out. And he said, yes. So basically, just for asking, I worked in, here I got a $4,000 credit, and here I got an $8,000 credit. So what's my all-in price at this point? So basically, my all-in price is, I have to pay, my contract price was $70,000 minus the $4,000 repair credit, and then minus the $8,000 that I negotiated on the underlying, which belongs on my side of the settlement statement sheet. So basically now I'm all in for $58,000. That's a much better number, isn't it? Especially if I've got to come up with all cash. So now if I sell, for $89,000 for cash, now I've got minus some closing costs, so about a $30,000 profit, right? For not doing too much to the property. So, any comments, questions from anyone who can unmute themselves or wants to? Is everyone coming along? I think everyone here follows this so far. So anyhow, this is how I bought a piece of real estate and a discounted note at the same time. Isn't that fun to get to do both property and paper at once? But instead of really saying I bought the note, I just say that I negotiated a short payoff. And really what it makes me sick is that I wasn't on my marketing game and trying to buy this note earlier for an even better discount. If someone knows they're about to get paid off, they don't want to they're not as motivated. If they think they have to wait another 9 years for their money, I probably could have, if I would have marketed to this guy, someone carrying a note, I might have been able to buy it at, who knows, $35,000 or $33,000, 65% of the balance. I mean, they just inherited this property when the parents died, and they didn't want to deal with it at all. That's why they did 100% owner carry. So anyway, then we have. So I'm down with closing costs. I'm in it for $59,000, which gives me a lot more wiggle room. And it so happens that, and I'm going to bring my browser up again. So right when I got it under contract, I'm going to show you, this is what I did on Craigslist. I just threw it up on Craigslist. 2-bed plus bonus room. Let's see if it will bring up this. Here's all, I didn't even have pictures, right? So 89,000, I wanted to market test. I really didn't know, you know, I had an idea in my mind, but I didn't know. So I just wanted to market test it. This was after the contract, before it closed, a week before it closed. 2-bed plus bonus room, owner will carry, no bank needed. This is an opportunity for a family to quit renting and build equity by moving in and fixing up this older home that's been permanently affixed to the land. It needs some TLC, blah, blah, blah. It's your chance to own your piece of real estate. Huge yard with shed, lots of possibilities. Seller financing available with at least 10 grand down, terms flexible. Own for the same price you're paying in rent each month and create some stability for your family. There's a covered porch, extra room behind the carport, and it has made it stretch into a 4-bedroom that enabled a family of 6 to live here in years past. So that's what I just put up, and then I started getting a lot of interest. In fact, people are probably going to be really disappointed because I can only choose one. I wish I had more of these to do this. I wish I could step and repeat, because that's going to be sad. There's some people that have that 10,000 down, several of them, and they really are just dying to get out of the rent scene. But I can only give this to one person. And there's a Hispanic family that says, look, I can easily put 20,000 down. And it's me and my wife, and we really need a place and get out of the rent. They keep raising the rent on us. So basically, that's really strong, right? that equals very little headache, because look at the percentage down. 20,000 divided by the sales price, we've got 22% down payment. I mean, that's really, really strong. So I'm not going to have it's very unlikely that I would have headaches with 10,000, but even less with 20,000 down. So that leaves me a first note and deed of trust at 69,000. So I'm going to put that in present value, or that's loan amount. And my next slide here. Okay, first note of deed. I've already figured out what that affordable payment would be, right? So I'm just going to plug in 750, make it a negative. These two are always negative for me, for those who are still working with their calculators. I know that, from before, well, what happens if I put a 9%? Because I think 9% is totally fair for this type of asset and for ownership that you can afford. Well, that would be 156 payments, right? So that's at about, what is that, 13 years, 14 years? Can't remember, 13, 14 years. What if I did 8%, which I've already determined is, pretty reasonable and fair. Well, that's pretty close. 143 fully amortized, that's really close, right, to 144, which is full 12-year AM, right? 12-year fully amortized note. So now what's the payment? Now I've changed this number. That stays the same. That stays the same. It's fully amortizing. There's no balloon, so I'm going to solve for payment. Now we get it below, a little bit below that 750 that I'm shooting for, right? So it seems like, and I'm doing good, right? I'm making a fair deal. I'm not working that hard. I'm just using the knowledge of the business. So
below the typical 9%.
Right, and it's still, the more they put down, I think the better terms they deserve, because they've created a safer investment for me.
Correct. And
if I get it back, I mean, land value alone is 65 or 70,000, right? So even if they burned the place down, it would be hard for me to lose money on this deal. Now, mobiles and land, in a park, it's a higher risk asset class, and I will usually charge 10 or 11%, because that's what the licensed NMLS guy in my state says is very reasonable and fair, considering Dodd-Frank and all of that. So now what's my yield? So now, okay, if I'm in it for 59,000, right? That's the cash I have out of pocket. And I subtract what? The down payment I got. I get 20,000 back. So now I only have 39,000 left in it. And I'm going to put that in present value. That's my investment. Okay, so what's my yield? I get for 12, I have this much in it. For at 144 times, I get 746.89. So I want to solve for what's my yield if I do that. So I press this. Now it's at 21. Pretty close to the other deal where I only had to come in with basically 20. Actually, I think I might have done that other calculation funky. I'll bet you. No, I don't know. No, I think it was all right. Anyway. All right. So how can I increase my yield? And what if I want to cash out? What if I don't want to leave 39,000 tied up? So I've got a note here. Do you think another investor might be interested in an 8% yield? And the answer is yes. There's a lot of money looking for places to go, and if they get a safe investment, secure with an owner operator like myself that they trust, I'm bringing in new investment money, between 7 and 8%, unless there's some extra risk or something like that. But I can, for the safe little deals, the new money coming in is coming in at 7 and 8%. And it's totally passive and it's very secure. So basically, this is the note that we have, right? I'm going to recreate the original note, 69,000. We set it 8%, 144. I recalculate that just so that the finer decimal points are solved for. And so what's the most that I should ask for from an investor on this? If it's worth 89 all day, it's probably worth more, but let's just say it's worth 89 as is with the price I sold it for. I mean, I asked, what's the total interest earned? So if you want to look at the full amortization, you go over to here and we can see how the whole note amortizes. There's 38,500 of interest to be earned if you just stay in it all the way. But 80, I want to keep someone, I'm always just going for 65,000, even though or 65%. So I'm going to say times 0.65. The most I want an investor to bring in is 57,000, 58,000. That's the most. So I figure if I bring them down to 50,000, we're really safe, right? Now, if they'll accept an 8%, I can sell these payments at par. I wonder how many of these payments they would need. So I know I'm going to give them the whole payment. I'm not going to get a piece of it. I want to get them to have their money first. So I change this number. This is the same. So I'm going to solve for N. Oh, they would need, look at this, 89 payments. Right? And so basically what I have, if I got 20,000, so basically I pulled 20,000 from the down payment, 50,000 from the investor. So I got 70,000 minus the money that I put out to acquire the property. So now I put 11,000 in my pocket. How much of my own money do I have left in this deal at this point? Nothing, right? I mean, I got 70,000. I got 20,000 from the borrower, and I got 50,000 from a note investor. Does it seem like a win-win so far for everyone?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And so I put $11,000 in my pocket, and the investor gets, let's just call it 89 payments. I always go back and just clean it up. I'll solve for interest rate. Okay, they get an 8.01% yield. And where's my next slide? I think I just have one slide left. And okay, so I put 11,000 in my pocket. After the investor gets their 89 payments, how many do I have left? So there's 140 minus 89, or 144. Remember, that's the amount of payments that the borrower is going to pay me, minus 89. I'm going to have 55 payments left, right? And it's what's the yield when I have no money in the deal left in the deal, when I actually got paid $11,000? What's the, no matter how I calculate this, what's my yield going to be?
Infinite.
Infinite. Hey, yeah, Kathy, is that you? I hear
You
you.
heard me. Infinite.
I heard you. Infinity return. No matter how I crunch this, there's no way about it. I have infinity return because all of my money is back in my pocket. I have no money left in this deal. So basically, I have 55 payments left that start after 89 payments. So what is that? After about 8 years-ish or so. And so basically that's the payment. Look how much money I have left still remaining to come to me. Yeah, it's some time, but this is a good retirement plan for me. Out of thin air right now, I get $11,000 in grocery money so I can feed myself and my kids when they come to visit. And boy, does food disappear fast when 4 young adult children are in the house. So basically, and then I have 41,000 coming for my retirement. So that's 52,000 of profit on a deal that on a deal that's only $89,000 deal. I mean, that's pretty good to me. I really love it. And plus I got to create home ownership. And because I could negotiate with the underlying note holder, I was able to leave $8,000 more in the pocket of the seller and still make the deal work for me, right? Instead of going back and say, hey, he won't let me do subject to, I'm going to have to knock you down another $5,000 or $8,000. I let her keep the money. So it worked for her. It worked for the lender. They're much happier just taking their 40 and reinvesting. It worked for me. I'm going to give a great deal to the homeowner. My investor is going to get a really solid return. And I'm going to do really well. So, and staying in and not selling out my whole position, like, life happens. This could be an option for me to get the property back sometime. I hope not. Or someone will need a loan modification, or they'll need an additional loan. I don't know. There's also, it keeps sort of like my foot in the door. I have a play in this property. So for future things that happen down the road. So that is all I have for tonight. And we are almost out at the end of our time. Thank you so much for being with me now. Kyoka, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
So you said you had some questions about foreclosure, and I've gone through a few foreclosures. So what is it that you're hoping that we can chat about?
I have foreclosure in Ohio, which is the worst state because it's what do you call those states?
Mortgage state. It's judicial.
Yeah, it's judicial. Yeah, and I have a foreclosure going on, and the servicer asked me to do. I mean, she called up and said she wanted to do a deed in lieu, which is great. So
Right.
the servicer said, you shouldn't believe her at face value. So you should move forward with the foreclosure and do the deed in lieu. So I'm basically doing both at one time.
Okay. Did you already pay for the initiation of the foreclosure?
Yeah, she said I should. Just in case, she's playing the game to hold it, back, to push it back a little further.
Actually, I don't disagree. But are you doing a title search now to make sure that that the title's clear?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Because I think, going through a lawyer, you have to do that.
Yeah, you can take a deed in lieu and take your chances, but it's not a good idea because they may have other liens and judgments that attach to the property. So even if they want to give you a deed in lieu, if they have other loans, liens, judgments attached to the property, you can't take it.
Yeah, they did that already.
You have to foreclose.
We've worked through it.
You have to foreclose to wipe off the junior liens.
Yeah, we did that already, and we got the okay to move forward. Okay,
well, that's fantastic.
So you agreed to do both at the same time?
No, it's not a bad idea. How long? I mean, I don't know. I didn't do that. How long would it take? Yeah, but how long would that have been? Like, deed in lieu only takes a couple weeks.
9 years if it's not contested in Ohio.
9 years what?
If it's not 9 months, I'm so sorry.
Months.
9 months if it's not contested in Ohio.
Okay, but in this case, how long would it take to get a clear title and do a deed in lieu? 2-3 weeks?
It's happening now. And I mean, they sent another charge, so I guess it's almost complete or complete if you sent the charge. And I was skeptical when she first put it out. She said you needed a $1,200 retainer. And I'm like, well, retainer to me is throwaway money, giveaway money.
Mm-hmm.
And she said it wasn't.
Well, I guess it just depends. If I know it takes 9 months plus, so let's say it takes 9 months to get the property back, and they've said that they'll do a deed in lieu, and that usually only takes 2 to 3 weeks total to get done. So basically, I would be willing to hang out for 3 weeks to save myself. I'm only at the most, pushing the foreclosure back another month. I probably wouldn't have done it. I can see why some people would, but I probably wouldn't have done it.
I mean, this is a homeowner that has played several games. You know what I mean? You call her one day and she's like, got somebody else to answer the phone. Oh, she died. Just stupid games.
Oh, no. Okay. And that gives me a lot different context. Of course.
She's not trustworthy, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Well,
and she could, have somebody pushing stuff in her ear about, oh, tell me you'll do a deed in lieu. This will push it back for, this amount of time.
Gotcha. No, in that case, I agree. If they've already, jerked you around and
yes.
Any other, Kathy, what do you think?
So I know the foreclosure is filed because the city of Cincinnati sent me some type of payment because obviously it's empty. And so they were like, where a vacancy, foreclosure, you have to pay a certain amount, like $500 and something, because it's vacant. And then we've never had any indication that it's vacant because we know she received certain things because she called up.
Gotcha.
I mean, we know she received like a 30-day, notice to pay because she'll call up. And we know she sent the foreclosure papers because she called up. You know what I mean? She wouldn't call if she wasn't receiving something.
Right.
To give her the indication of something.
Gotcha. So that's weird. So that makes you have more expensive forced place if it's a vacant property, right?
Yeah. I mean, they have sent out an inspection to see if it's really, vacant.
Right. I just know that when I put on forced place insurance, I've got about...
Oh, we already did that.
Yeah, but they require that you do a monthly check. Someone's got to monthly check the property to validate the insurance claim. Is that true with yours too?
No, because I never heard of it.
Oh, well, usually when there's a vacant property for forced place or REO or whatever.
But see, we never knew that it was vacant. We have no indication, no return mail, no nothing.
All right, but if it does turn out to be vacant, I would document and prove every single month that you've sent someone out there to check on the property if it's vacant. That if you document,
it's obvious that she's getting something because, like I said, she called on point.
I know, but so she's picking up her mail. But if it is really vacant, all I know is that insurance companies can deny a claim if it turns out that the property was vacant and you didn't have like your monthly. You should check with the insurance company, but usually you have to document that someone went physically once a month to make a report on the property. Otherwise, you won't collect on any insurance.
Yeah, that might come into play once we get the inspection report back.
Yeah. Well, interesting. But
it's obvious the city of Cincinnati received some indication that it was vacant for them to send out a vacant foreclosure fee.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like they sent that out and we didn't even know it was vacant.
I wonder
we never got any indication.
What is that fee supposed to be for?
A vacant foreclosure. I guess, people like to make money and they make up these terms. It's called a vacant foreclosure.
I mean, I can see charging you if the grass is unkept, there's
Yeah. That's city charges. That's normal city charges, I believe.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they call it a vacant foreclosure. They sent me some mail. So
Wow.
that's how I know the foreclosure was filed, because I'm receiving something called a vacant foreclosure.
Oh,
A
wow.
fee. A
Yeah,
fee for it.
well, they're good at, you know what? They're always trying to make money. That's the job of government, to make money doing unproductive things.
Correct.
That's my assessment.
Correct. Mine as well.
Oh, well, yeah, that can be a bummer. But I think you did the right thing. I didn't know that she
Yeah,
did.
because there was like, if she's playing games, we might as well go ahead and get that date
No,
set,
no,
for the 9 months.
I totally agree.
Hmm.
The only 2 or 3, 4 deed and liens I've done, they weren't jerking me around. So I was able to give them cash for keys instead of spend it on the attorney. And I said, look, I can hire the attorney or I can put money in your pocket. What do you prefer?
Yeah, that's because you're speaking with the person.
Exactly.
Like, she has never ever told us she didn't have insurance. And
Yeah.
I've sent her multiple emails in the beginning because I just thought it was an oversight. And
Right.
she never responded to any of my emails.
Right. Well, that's a whole different ball of wax. Yeah, I would have handled it just like you did. But like I
Yeah,
was saying,
and it was
into
so funny when
Yeah.
they called one time and she had someone else answer the phone and the person said, "Oh, she died yesterday." I mean, silly stuff.
Right. Well, tell her to send the money down from heaven, collect.
And she has never ever paid a mortgage. So, it's just we're dealing with that.
Yeah, just working the system, that's all. Too bad.
Yeah, basically. So we feel that maybe she can be using a deed in lieu, calling up saying, "Okay, I want to do a deed in lieu."
She'll
Push
get
it back.
herself
Yeah,
1 more month of free rent. That's what
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
did file the foreclosure, and I had to pay an attorney. Of course, you got to pay him to draft up deed in lieu
Right.
documents.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
guess the cost of doing business, right?
exactly.
You just hope she would sign the deed in lieu.
Right. And it's, yep. I mean, it's just the seminar, until you can learn about the note business all day long, but until you're in the trenches, you really don't. Right? This is when you really learn the business, and then it helps you make better and better evaluations for underwriting your own set of
Yeah, and
underwriting risk.
I'm so lucky that I get to experience. I'm always going through the school of hard knocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do I have to experience this so soon?
Are you going to lose money on it, or is it just a pain in the butt?
It's a pain in the butt. I may lose money. I mean, I guess I would gain money if she signs a deed in lieu. And if that BPO was correct.
Right. But with 9 months later, with taxes and insurance and whatever else happens, you could. But anyway, but that's
I could
what
break even or maybe lose money.
Right.
Because I'm sure at some point someone is going to tell me I have to pay the taxes.
Yeah, just depending on how long it goes. But
yeah.
But you know what? Maybe you'll lose, what, $5,000 at the most?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, that's a lot cheaper than a $40,000 boot camp that you could spend on one of these guys, and then right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's how I look at it.
I learned from the school of hard knocks.
Yeah, but you're in the game, so that's the important part, and this is how you learn. But a lot of people have, glassy, starry-eyed, the note business has, its challenges and its risk and its rewards, but sometimes you come out really great, and sometimes, you take a hit, but it's just about keeping to learn and grow. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Kyoka. And I see that Kathy and Peggy had to leave. Axel, I always appreciate you hosting this and being here with me. And I will catch you guys next time. I guess our next event will be, I can't remember what it will be. It will be, Axel, when's our next event?
Let me take a look here, just a second. Okay, so next time we're going to meet is September 7th.
September 7th. Okay,
That's right.
Okay, great. So actually, I'll have to change that because I'm going to be in Seattle. So we'll have to move that around a bit. But anyway,
Okay, stay tuned.
all right. For those of you that are listening, thank you so much. And we will catch you next time. I appreciate you. Go out there and create financial solutions, just one mom and pop to another. I'll catch you next time around the Queendom. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.